Hey, welcome back to another episode of Soul Currents. Today I'm here with Nate from Nature Nvoke. How are you doing
Doing
today?
great. Thank you so much for
Of
having me.
course. I'm so happy to have you on. I actually saw you perform, I think in December at Con 2, but I was too shy to introduce myself. So I was like, oh, they are so great.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, of
That was a
course.
great show. I love TJ and Stephanie, what they got going over at Con 2.
No, for real.
It's like the perfect environment. It kind of reminds me of SNL. It's like
Yeah.
comedy, it's music, it's culture, it's everything all in one place. Like, I love that they got that every Sunday.
Yeah, actually, I got to interview them, I think it was last year, and I wrote a story about them. But I really just love seeing all of these different forms of art come together on one stage. I think that's really important because, sometimes it feels so separated. But y'all had the house rocking, honestly. Like, everybody was amazed. I was blown away. Like, I've heard of y'all before, but I've never actually got to see you perform. And I've seen, like, you did perform at, like, a lot of venues and stuff, but I could just never go to a show. So I was so happy to get a chance to see you perform.
That was our EP release, pretty much. We had released our EP January 15th.
Oh, okay.
So like around that time, that was when we had the Contu show, and then that was the first time we debuted it for everybody in Cleveland.
Really?
So yeah, I was so glad to have you be a part of that, and then for you to witness that too, because it just had that type of energy where
Yeah.
I wanted to connect with new people for the first time.
Yeah,
So
for
that was great
sure.
that you were there.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your EP. So you dropped Echoes in Eternity in January, and that is Nature Nvoke's first project as a full band.
Yes.
So what has the response been, and what doors would you say have opened up since the band's first release?
I would say, honestly, we just got accepted for the 2026 Cleveland Rocks Past, Present, and Future program. It's a mentorship program, and they offer a $2,000 loan. So you can use for music expenses, to tour, to make records, or make t-shirts and merch. So we're going to use that to keep our momentum going forward in 2026. So that's something to look forward to. So since we released that EP, that's a door that's been open.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Hopefully plenty more to come.
No, for sure. So what do you think this means kind of for, I would say, like, because your genre is more so post-punk, correct? And I would say there's not a lot of Black representation in that. So what do you think that means for Black representation in post-punk?
I think it made it very important. It's not no one's path that I'm really walking in a way. And that became the path, I think. By like walking in these places and being a pioneer in Black post-punk or in Black alternative, I just want to be somebody that a kid can look up to and be like, oh, I can listen to his music and connect with him because he's from Cleveland or he's from the Midwest. So I kind of always want to fill that void and be a pioneer, so.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, I really enjoy just seeing a lot of representation when it comes to Black people in, more alternative spaces. I think of specifically like Rico Nasty, like when she first came out into rap, like,
Yeah.
she was really doing something different and a little bit more edgy. And I think that kind of like, at least for me, it kind of pulled me a little bit closer to her. So I feel like when it comes to Nature Nvoke, I was like intrigued by just seeing Black people who are rooted in Black liberation,
Yes.
like actually put it in that form of music.
Yeah, for sure. Like one of our phrases is our songs are forged in ancestral fire. So I want people to kind of feel that vibe from our drums, just the primal energy that we might have in our band. I want you to be able to let go of, anything that might have you down or make you anxious and just want to mosh and just, go off and let
For
that
sure.
energy out and have that sort of catharsis there. So, and you mentioned Rico Nasty and like the crossover genres, and I love artists like that. You got people like Rico Nasty, and for sure you got people like Horror, where it's like a duo,
Yeah.
and they're rapping, it's industrial, and it's punk rock. It's like so much of our energy, and it's being represented right now. You got like the genre of soul music and R&B, like Steve Lacy or Fouché. In 2023, I auditioned for Fouché's band when she was going
Wow.
Rolling Loud. So that was when I met her
Yeah.
in Hollywood. And that just always inspired me. I said, when I get back to Cleveland, like I'm gonna put some team together, get my guys together, and make sure we make a good album to connect with these people. And that was in 2023. So kind of got on that journey when I got back and started writing Doors of Perception, which was my first kind of project that like I would make these post-punk songs along with electronic kind of techno-y songs. And it was just a project where I didn't think about too much of how is this going to be perceived. I just wanted to make something that I could connect with.
Yeah.
And then my tribe kind of all fell into place and they all came around at the same time. And I think I got that band and we worked on Echoes in Eternity for 2025. Throughout that year, we recorded with John Panza from the Panza Foundation. And thank you to John and Jane for sponsoring us from 2025 and helping us record. And we did another session in Akron with Ben over at Akron Recording Company. That's where we recorded End of Time, which is like our lead single that we're kind of promoting the most right now, filming a music video too. So
I really like that song a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I was actually gonna say, I listened to Doors of Perception, and I have it somewhere in my notes what I wrote about it. I basically kind of just saying like it's more focused on instrumentals and kind of gives the listener a chance to define the experience on their own. Exactly. While I feel like Echoes in Eternity is more about Nature Nvoke telling us who you are. Like instead of us like, you know, kind of trying to identify you, like you're telling us like this is what we stand for, which I really like. So
I think me just getting those ideas out, it was more like, okay, I got all of these songs in my head. I got this instrumental that I hear, or I got this beat on my hard drive. It's like, what am I gonna do with all this music? And I wanted to make a cohesive project and have the artwork resonate with our people too, and our culture. So I wanted that to be like the beacon of light. Like if you see that album cover, you know it's probably made by a person of color. And it's in this alternative, avant-garde, punk rock genre. So it's like, it's there as a hidden gem, but Echoes in Eternity, we wanted that to be more of a statement as like, okay, what's your introduction to punk rock for somebody? It might be that End of Time song, or it could be Fate, which could bring them into more bands. And, you know, if they're already into hip hop, they might be familiar with Boucher or Rico Nasty, and these people, but they just getting into punk rock and alternative, they can listen to Nature Nvoke. Yeah,
for sure. So that kind of brings me into my next question. I'm always curious about the creative process of an artist. So when it comes to making music, is it ever based on emotion or specific experience that you had?
Yes, a little bit of both. I made a song post George Floyd, and that was out of a place of emotion. I just didn't really want to try to make that song. I just wanted to feel it. I wanted to get a drum beat that I felt, get a sample that I could connect with, but honestly put my energy there. Then there's songs too where I want to kind of calculate where it goes. So I'll think about the elements of the production. I'll think about, for gothic music, I might want to start with a synth first, then add a guitar line, and then add a bass line, or flip the order. So it could be a little bit of both. Sometimes it'll be from a place of emotion, and I might be inspired in a stroke of inspiration.
Yeah.
Or it could be, honestly, let's try to make this song and connect with these people if we can, you know, if it works.
Yeah. So what typically comes first, concept or sound?
Okay. So for an album like Doors of Perception, concept first.
Okay.
Echoes in Eternity, we had songs. And then we were like, okay, what are we gonna call this?
Yeah.
You know what, man, what we do in life, Echoes in Eternity. Yep, that's it.
So where'd the name come from exactly?
It came from that. It was a conversation me and my boys were having, because I have a tattoo. It's MF Doom, or it could be perceived as the Gladiator.
Okay.
So like a joke, they're like, yeah, what we do in life, Echoes in Eternity. And I'm like, you know what, that's what we're about to do.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was kind of more of our statement and just battle cry, I think. Concept-wise, Doors of Perception was more of a thought-out thing, because I had these songs on a hard drive plus the songs that I was writing at that time. So it was like, I just want to put this out so it's not just sitting there.
Yeah.
And it can connect with somebody and inspire somebody too, instead of just sitting on my MacBook.
Yeah, for sure. So I read in an Idea Stream article that was written about you back in January that you were signed to Mannequin Records before the pandemic.
Yes.
So what exactly led to that deal kind of falling through?
I would say during that time, COVID-19 was a big thing with travel. And honestly, the direction where I wanted to go, because I was always a guitar player, but I didn't want to become just only a techno guy. I didn't want to abandon that. And being in the city of Cleveland, like, I'm from a scene of people who, we all play guitar. So it's like, dude, we could see you do techno, you know, somewhere else later down the line. But bro, we want to see you play guitar, Nate, because you got so much more to give and offer.
For sure.
And I think with Mannequin, that might have been the best thing that ever happened, because it helped me develop my connections with KEXP Radio. It was more of a developmental deal. I learned really how to create a body of work at that time instead of just putting out songs, because the song that got me signed initially was Tears, the song I made after George Floyd.
Okay.
So it was like I would just make songs and throw them at the wall, versus now Alessandro Adriani's like, okay, so what do you want to do with all of this music? You know, you're still an independent artist. Like, you can be free and do what you want to do. I can help you if you're over here, if you get a flight, sure, but in this time, you know, think about bodies of work and how you want to be perceived over time. And that was what I kind of took from that deal. And then 5 years later, I'm out of it, I'm still independent. We got United Masters, and in today's society, I think you're a little bit more flexible by being independent.
Yeah.
I was listening to a couple podcasts about like how the industry has changed. And I think by being independent, we would want to work with a label if they can offer us marketing and promotion in the future. But as of now, us being pioneers in our genre, we kind of want to build our own audience too, and see if we can build it on our own.
Yeah, and I think I'm starting to notice that there are like a lot, for me, I'm starting to listen to more independent artists, I feel like, just because even like with these big time artists, I'm thinking like Ari Lennox specifically, her record label did her very dirty, just like based off her albums that have been put out, the marketing. A lot of people didn't even know that she had, I forgot her last album name, see? Because her label wasn't promoting her in the right way. So I think it's nice for artists to just be able to like, kind of venture off into their own and see what they can do for themselves and create their own pathway instead of having someone else kind of do it. I mean, it's nice to have that, like, I don't want to say cushion, but it's nice to have someone who's, you know, behind you for that though. But it is also, you know, nice to just pave your own way and then let whatever happens come to you, you know?
If they can be a part of our journey and help us, you know, and not be something where it's, all right, we signed you guys, now we need you to erase all of what you did, and we need you to walk in this path. And I think that's where we would lose what we kind of naturally had going for us.
Yeah.
Because by us walking that path, if that connects and grows that market, then that's gonna help them.
Yeah.
You know, but in the meantime, I'm all for the connections. I'm all for the growth. I'm not opposed to signing record deals if they're offering connections versus just owning my stuff. If they're able to be like, hey, we'll sign you, we'll put you in those right rooms, you know, but it's still gonna be up to you and what you do and put out, I'll be fine with that.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, but by us being independent now, currently, I think that's gonna keep us going, because there's not a path that we're walking in. We're kind of paving our own.
Yeah, that's really important. So, would you say like your creative process has changed since becoming a full band? Like, how does that work within between the three of you? Because I know people probably have like different creative processes, like, you know, just how they deal with certain things or how they create just in general. So how does that work?
That's a great question. So Dave, my drummer, he'll send me like funkadelic references, source material. He'll be like, yo, dude, we gotta jam like this. Because I know you're doing a rock and roll, Nate, but we gotta get in this pocket. And Dave, he's always thinking outside the box when it comes to drums. So like, let's speak about In the Time and how that song came about. So Dave had been in Nature. He had played one other show with us, filled in, because we hadn't had a set drummer over 2025 until the end of the year.
Okay.
And Dave had one jam session with me and Josh. And when I say we wrote that song in 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Because I had that chord progression on my phone. I wrote that chord progression. I showed Josh the root notes so for him to put it on bass. So I was like, all right, Dave, whatever you think of, dude, just put it over this pop. And then that 10 minutes of us jamming, we got some sort of structure to it. We performed 2 shows. We performed at the Beachland on October 30th, and then we performed at Human Heart October 31st.
Okay.
And we had only played that song 2 times, and I got in a real bad car accident.
Oh, wow.
On Halloween night,
Okay.
December 31st. And it was crazy. It was like, all I thought about was recording that song. Like, I got out of the car after it flipped, and all I was thinking about was just recording at the time. Like, I think I was listening to it that whole day after we played the show, because I would record off of my phone the live audio of the show. And I'm listening back to it, I'm like, man, this song is great. Like, they just put over this, man, it just came together organically. Like, I didn't have to put a backing track up to write it or nothing like that. We just kind of came up with it all on the spot at practice. And it was my mission, like, after, you know, recuperating after the accident, to record it. And we went to Akron and we booked the session with Ben. And thank you to the team over there at Akron Recording Company. We spent the day out there, got it done in about 12 hours. Recorded, just had to set up mics really.
Yeah.
Did one take, cut the lights out, set the candles, one take, and then just mixed it and, you know, added other parts to beef it up.
Yeah.
And, you know, mirror the other parts that's inside of it to make the song more fuller. And then that song just came together and put it out. So that was kind of how the process of that went. It was kind of all a collective jam, but just from my chord progression. You know what I mean? Just a vibe. And then we'll let Dave put that there. We'll let Josh put his feels on the bass. Cause it's like, once I give him the sheet music, he can add his feels to it. He can put his own spin on it too, on the bass. So once we kind of got that foundation, it was on after that.
Yeah. Wow. So it was just kind of like y'all had chemistry already. Like, it's just that instant chemistry.
Yeah, and I could explain that too. I've been in a project with Coach Dave. My first ever project, this was back in 2015. So Dave has honestly been the best drummer I've probably known my entire career.
Wow.
But he's in a lot of different projects.
Yeah.
He plays in the church.
Okay.
So he's very busy. And it's hard for me to get him to be full-time with Nature up until this year. So
Yeah,
now we're at this place and we got the incubator working with us, and you know, we got a singer-songwriter showcase coming up on April 20th at the Cleveland Rocks building next to the Beachland.
Okay.
So yeah, if you know anyone and want to come check that out, we'll be talking about End of Time. We'll be playing it, performing it live because it's an original song, and we'll strip it down for people and let them see how we all came about it.
Yeah, I definitely will try to pull up, honestly, because I'm trying to be more active in like the local scene. You know, I don't go to a lot of shows as much just because work and stuff, but I'm trying to make my way out there. So I definitely will try to pull up for sure. Of course. So you were in choir growing up.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I was.
Was it in church choir or was it just like school? Okay, wow, okay.
Shout out Miss Nicole. She was out here somewhere in Cleveland. I've seen her at Station Hope Festival. I played it with my friend Chimmy. And
I like her too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I love her too. But Miss Nicole Sumlin was my choir instructor at Brush. We're not at Brush, it was in middle school, so at Memorial. And she kind of tricked me into the program because it was like the last day of school in 7th grade. I'm with all my friends, kind of being a little clown. Like, you know, she was like study hall. And it's like the end of the year, so I'm like extra being goofy. But she's like, Nate, man, I love how everybody like receives your energy. I like how you're a people person. I really need people like you in our class. So I'm like, okay, Miss Sumlin, all right.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I actually showed up the first day of school, 8th grade. I'm in choir. I'm like, whoa.
You didn't expect it. You was like, what's this? What's going on?
What's going on? So I said, all right. I'm not gonna, you know, go away from my word. Gotta be, you know, noble in that way.
Yeah.
Gotta see this through. So Miss Summer's like, Nate, you're gonna be great. You're gonna be my tenor. You go sing. You're gonna do sleigh bells. And I was like, okay, all right. I'm singing it. And that's when I kind of learned like breath control in a way. You know, I'm not the singer, but I love the blues. So I think if I could play guitar, hold a tune a little bit. But thank you, Miss Sumlin. She taught me the foundation of singing, though, and that was in middle school choir. Yes.
I was gonna ask you, like, how do you think like being in choir kind of helped you through your musical journey?
I think it taught me what it takes discipline-wise, and the ceiling, you know, that I could reach. I know it's probably even more potential for me singing-wise. I'm really guitar-centered at this present moment in 2026. I like to think about my guitar way more than my vocals, but I think by being in a program like that, it opens up that ceiling for me, and I know there's more.
Yeah. Okay, so you have a show coming up on April 4th at Beachland Tavern. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we're playing April 4th at the Beachland Tavern with the illest villains and High Tolerance, all local Cleveland bands. We're gonna be out there.
Okay,
Cool.
great. Anything else I need to mention? I always
Go
ask people.
stream Echoes in Eternity, your favorite streaming platforms, you know. We got it on Bandcamp, we got it on Apple Music, etc. Yeah, stay tuned. Got a lot of other updates too. 2026 Incubator Artist, Nature Nvoke.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. See you next time. Bye.